last class is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you revised some contents? I told you, na? Okay, we will begin. Then we will begin unit 4, block 4 we will begin today. And also we have more 2 days time, and you revise the contents, and wherever you have a doubts, you get clarified. Okay. So block 4, it is watching. So what is watching, ma? Do you have any idea? Watching. It is basic term. Yes, my students, what is watching? Like, see, there will be various vouchers, business vouchers, right? Like receipts and payments. We have purchase receipts, sales receipts. So these are the examples of vouching. In day-to-day business transactions, voucher plays an important role to tally the transactions, right? So I think you have heard the terms of various departmental vouchers. Can you give any examples? Yes, students. Okay, fine. I will explain you. So here watching means here it is like an backbone to the auditing concept. And for example, voucher gives an documentary evidence for the various business transactions. So generally, voucher supports the various transactions in the books of accounts. So auditor will tally the transactions by considering the various vouchers. See, the main objective of watching is to collect the information. See, auditing can be done only once if we have a documentary evidence, right? That is the first objective of watching. So next, it involves evaluating and collecting the evidences of see, generally, for example, we purchases took place on so and so date, and sales, we have done sales, and there are sales returns, purchase returns. So what will be the proof for that particular transaction? Voucher itself. With the help of voucher, we can get a documentary evidence. Esma, are you following?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the another objective is to find out. See, if voucher is there, we can find out if any transaction is omitted. We can find out it. Omitted transactions and unrecorded transactions we can trace with the help of watching concept. And also, generally, the auditor will check various transactions entries which are concerned to the various books of accounts. So next, voucher. So voucher means here it is a written documentary evidence. It is a support to claim the particular transaction in the books of accounts. Next, we have here, like for example, sales book and purchase book, and we have various transactions books. So we can verify with the help of vouchers. Next, the difference between here watching and routine checking. What is routine checking, ma? In the last class we have discussed routine checking. What is routine checking? In the last class we have discussed that randomly we will pick the transactions, right? Yes, all of you. Are you
Yes,
there?
ma'am. Yes,
Ah,
ma'am.
yes. Okay, okay. So just I am trying to share the screen, but no problem. I will I will do mail to you. Fine. So next here we have routine checking and watching differences. So watching means here checking routine watching includes the concept of routine checking. But here routine checking have its own significance. Say for example, watching means checking the documentary evidence, whereas routine checking is concerned with the cost of the firm, totals of the firm, and postings which are relating to the business concern. Next, uh, watching of cash transactions. So generally, the cash book contains primary entries. So it contains all the transactions which are recorded in a chronological order. So cash, see at the concept of cash, there will be various chances will be occurring in order to involve in a fraud. So generally, the auditor has to safeguard such frauds and errors which are taking place in an organization. So the main intention of an auditor is to tally the vouchers and also with the books of accounts. So the auditor can ensure or he can collect the receipts and payments which took place in a business concern. So cash transactions involves here like receipts, payments, and also here if at all if the receipts are not entered in the particular head of account, say for example if it is not recorded appropriately, then the auditor has to verify and he has to rectify that errors. Next here and the auditor also verifies cash in hand and cash at bank under the watching of cash transactions. See, all of you, are you maintaining the running notes when the class is going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. And here, watching of cash receipts, we have covered here. Now we will take it as the another concept we have watching of cash payments. So, which is cash getting into the concern, that is receipt, and the where the cash payments are going outside, that is known as here cash payments. So normally here auditor will undertake the debit side of the cash book transactions. So that is here the cash receipts, and then he proceeds to the watching of credit side of the cash book. So the debit side and credit side of the cash book transactions are being verified by the auditor. Next here, the auditor has a right to collect the details from the business persons properly, which are documentarily which they are maintained. Next here, the payments are made for the, see these payments must be made, cash payments must be made specifically for the business purpose only. Next, watching of unit 11 we have watching of transactions. So here watching of credit transactions. So here generally here watching of purchase book, like for example the auditor before commencing, before starting the watching of purchase book, he examines the internal check system. He examines the internal check system. See, already in the yesterday's class we have discussed what is internal check system. It is done by the staff members of the business concern. So he take that statement, and then the auditor will apply the audit techniques in the various in identifying the business transactions. Next, auditor's duty regard to the credit purchases. So there are various credit purchases, like for example the goods may be purchased from the raw materials purchased from the suppliers on the basis of here credit basis, and here such types of invoices must be checked by the auditor. Next here we have another concept, watching of purchase returns. Esma, are you following?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, just a minute, I will continue for 1 second. Yes, ma, we will continue. I am trying to share the screen. So just wait.
Screen share green.
Yes, ma, is my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So fine. So we are discussing about here watching of cash transactions and cash receipts and payments. And now we are discussing about unit 11 watching of transactions. So generally watching of credit transactions. So auditor will focuses on the credit transactions before he begin the auditing process. Next here auditors duty regarding here credit purchases. So the auditor will check the invoices. In the first point, it is very clear that auditor will check the invoices and name of the clients. Like for example, the invoices, name of the officers or the partners of the business concern. Next, the another point is here goods. So what type of goods they are purchasing, and here who is the clients? The auditor will tries to trace out. Next here, the goods, once if it is mentioned in the invoice, it will be related to the client's business. So invoice is like a bill to the organization. Next here, hmm, generally the invoice will be signed by the concerned officer of a particular department, and it will be vouched, it will be kept in a particular record. Next, the date of invoice plays an important role in the invoicing. Next, the goods which are mentioned in the invoice are not capital goods. It must see capital goods should not be recorded in the purchase book. So these are the various conditions which are relating to the credit purchases. Next, watching of purchase returns. So generally the purchase returns will take place in the concern. So here the auditor will compare the credit notes of the business with the suppliers and with the purchases, purchase returns, with the purchase returns books. Yes, ma. So we are discussing the. Yes, ma. Is my voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So we continue. So here, like credit sales, we are discussing. So the auditor should also compare the name and date and amount of invoice which is recorded as a credit sales in the sales book. Next here, the auditor has to verify the sale of assets. Like for example, in the sale of assets, the capital item should not be entered in the sales book. Generally, the firm will commit a mistakes while recording the transaction. So that will be verified here. Next, sales invoices, trade discounts. Generally, the business. the business organization will give certain discounts. So the auditor has to verify such trade discounts vouchers also. Next, the auditor has to invoice the he will check the invoice which is made which is recorded in the books of accounts in order to avoid the problem of here not entering the cash transactions in the cash book. Next year, with the permission of the business concern, like client means business concern. So the auditor will send the statements of accounts to the customers to confirm the accuracy of the balance. So generally, the auditor will also gets confirmation from the customers. It is done in order to know whether these vouchers are recorded appropriately or not. Next, sales returns. Generally, the sales returns will also takes place in the business concern. So here, like for example, when do the sales returns will take place? When the quality and when the quality is dissatisfied, or when the inferior quality is existing, and then under such situations here sales returns will takes place. So the auditor will check the vouchers which are done by the sales department. So here he will note serially one by one what are the sales returns which are took place in the business concern. Like for example, some of the customers in the last 2 to 3 months, so the goods will be returned by the customers. So that must be recorded, definitely posted in the sales or sales returns book. So he will verify whether these sales returns are recorded appropriately or not. Next, watching of sales ledger or debtors ledger. So this is another concept which is related to the watching. See, these all are the various transactions. See, credit sales we have seen, sales we have seen, purchases we have seen, purchase returns we have seen. Next, watching of sales ledger or debtors ledger. So sales ledger, say generally the sales ledger, it contains the accounts of the debtors or customers. So the auditor will check the ledger here whether the opening balances are being checked and posted posted from the previous year or not. And he also checked the credit entries of the which are recorded in the sales ledger properly. So at these point of transactions, generally they commit the unintentionally or intentionally, there are chances of mismatching the figures in the books of accounts. So sometimes there may be chances of committing frauds also under that aspect. Next, watching of impersonal ledger. So generally here impersonal ledger, it contains nominal ledger, or we call it as a general ledger. So here this ledger, it contains two types of accounts, nominal accounts and real accounts details. So as per the nominal account principle, the transactions which are relating to the nominal account, so whether they are recorded or not, and whether the profits and loss account and trading account and balance sheet, the postings in the general ledger accounts, whether they're done properly or not, with the help of books of journals, and also with the subsidiary books of entries, the auditor will verify these transactions. Next, watching of outstanding assets and liabilities. So generally, the auditor not only concerned with the sales, purchases, purchase returns, assets, but also the watching of outstanding assets and also liabilities. So with the help of memorandum book, and also the transactions which are recorded in the outstanding aspect, if he check, so if he examine, so he will get the auditor will get the outstanding amounts of the previous year. And he can also compare with the outstanding the amount which is due, or the amount which is left over will be compared with the previous year to the current year. So these balances uh, should be uh, should be concerned in the balance sheet. So there will be outstanding assets also. See, the outstanding assets are like intangible assets. So like income receivable and next dividend receivable, these all are the examples, like prepaid expenses and insurance premium. These all are the examples of the intangible assets or outstanding assets. Next, some of the common items of unpaid expenses are also being considered. Like sometimes purchases, it may happen. It may the purchases may takes place. So here in this regard, here whether they posted in the ledger or not, whether they entered in the purchase book or not, it must be considered keenly by the auditor. Next, transactions like rents, rates, taxes, electricity charges. So these expenses periodically, whether they are recording or not, and whether they are fulfilling the dues of the last year, and the what is the status of the next accounting year, the auditor will verify the correct results, the correct payments will be considered here, so that here the business concern will come to know whether we are cleared the certain payments or not. So next one, wages and salaries. See, sometimes here while paying the wages or salaries of current month, here at the first week generally the payments will be cleared by the business concern in the first week, or in the next month, the first week of the next month. See, for example, May month salary, it will be cleared in the first week of the June. So whether the cash book will bear an entry for this next month or not, whether they are recording or not, how they are recording, the date, and whether they are following the current year month, or else they are following the following month, that will be checked in the unpaid expenses. Next, unearned incomes. So generally certain incomes which are received but are not applicable to the current year, which the incomes which are applicable to the previous years, so that amounts which are which whether they are recorded in the credit side to the P&L account or not. Like for example, rents will be due by the tenants, or by the particular see by the particular concern, whether they are recording, whether they are with the due rents, like past 6 months or 9 months rents will be due. So those dues of last year will be cleared in the current year. So whether they are maintaining such unearned income, whether how they are watching and how they are tallying the transactions, it will be considered. So these are the important questions, ma. You note down important questions. Like in this unit, you take down important questions. Yes, ma. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Note down the important questions, ma. These all are the important questions you have to revise for this unit. Note down it. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Have you noted?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So, yes, ma'am. Okay. So, is these headings also you note down? So, headings like you note down in the today's class, block 4, unit 10 and unit 11, we have discussed like watching. This first slide you take down.
Ma'am,
Note down? Yes, ma. Tell me.
can you send me PPT for me? Can you send me?
Yes, sure. I will send to all of you, but tomorrow. By tomorrow, I will send you. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Definitely, I will send. So you note down this points. Just I will scroll the slides. You note down headings. So today you revise. I will share this PPT to all the members. Note down watching, objectives of watching. Oh, objectives of watching is very, very important, ma. You may get this question for long also. And types of vouchers, long question. Types of vouchers. Next, this differences between watching and routine checking. Short answer, important. These differences you may expect in short answers. Next, watching of cash transactions, cash receipts, cash payments. Next, unit 11. Watching of transactions, auditor's duty regarding various transactions like credit purchases, watching of purchase returns, auditor's duty regarding credit sales, watching of sales return, watching of sales ledger or debtors ledger. So watching of impersonal ledger. Are you noting, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You try to note down. So some other like common items, unpaid expenses which are mentioned, unearned incomes. So these all, see here important questions you have taken. Na? So I will try to brief some concepts in auditing. So just to wait for a while. So are you revising, ma? Concepts are you revising? Auditing. Are you revising the subject, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in block 1, 2, 3, do you have any doubts? Block 1, 2, 3. And today we have covered fourth block. Watching we have covered. If you have any, if you want to discuss any topic, you can discuss. Last class concepts, have you revised? Yes, ma. His screen is visible, ma?
Yes,
Block
ma'am.
3. So can you read out what is unit 7, 8 and 9?
Internal control, internal check, internal audit.
Okay. So just we will also brief here types of internal control. Very good. So in this, do you have anywhere doubts? Just I will scroll the PPT. Just at any heading, if you have any doubts, you uh, just tell me so that I will explain you. So types of internal control: accounting control, administrative control. Just to have a look over the concept. Types of internal control. We have accounting control, which is relating to the procedures, plan of an organization on the various general and specific management aspects. Next, internal control process we have discussed yesterday, like control environment, risk assessment, control activities. Next, scope, the scope of internal control, like general functional financial control, cash control over trading transactions. Next, how they are handling the accounting of goods purchases, that will be discussed here. Next, control over employees' remuneration. It must not be over and it must not be under. So, and generally, when they claim the remuneration, so here they will give salary, the one salary, like for example, they give 10,000, but they post differently. So that will be checked by the auditor. Next, elements or characteristics or principles of internal control. So these all aspects. Any doubts, ma, in this? Just I will scroll the PPT. If you have anywhere, if you need anywhere explanation, just remind me. I will explain you once again. Advantages from various parties' point of view. We have discussed auditor's point of view, client point of view. Just I will scroll slowly. You revise. Limitations of internal control. So possibility of human error will take place. And here management's consideration regarding cost, and also expressing everything in the business concern. Also sometimes their weaknesses will be expressed. Under that situation, here once if anyone identifies our weaknesses, so that is will be a strength to anyone. So in the same way, the weaknesses, if it will be kept open with the internal control system. Next, these are the questions, important questions. Yes, ma, till here, do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next, unit 8, internal check. Once you read it out, I will give time to you.
Objectives of internal check.
Will be done. Yes, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
Objectives of internal check. So these are the various objectives. Next, essential characteristics or principles of internal check, like responsibility. Next, here rotation of employees. Next, automatic check, reliance, safeguard, supervision, formal permission or sanction, periodical review. Next, limitations. It is costly, and the quality sometimes it is sacrificed. And the if at all, if anyone influences or carelessness done with the higher officials, then here it is a drawback. Conducting of internal check is no use if the persons who are dealing with internal check system, if they are careless. Next, disorders in the work, the business, and risk for an auditor if we consider only internal check into point of view, and if we continue the auditing process, it is a highly drawback, or it is highly we won't get the appropriate results. Next, internal check system with regard to cash transactions, like checks, and next, cash payments. So all payments relating to the business concern, like cash payments, checks, petty cashier, and petty cash book transactions will be considered here. Next, sales at the counter. Next, internal check with credit transactions. Next, internal check with the purchases we have discussed in the last class. Next, internal check with the wages and inventory, and which is stored in the go down. Next concept, test checking is important. So test checking, it will be done in order to identify the whole system, how it is working. Next, number of entries, it will be checked. Cash book, it will be checked keenly. Next, here, whether the entries are entered periodically or not. So it will be checked here. Next, internal audit. Internal audit, this concept is also important. Next, here, statutory requirements which are required for the internal audit, it is mentioned. See, ma, whenever you are writing exam, so you focus on the sections, subsections, acts, So there is will be Companies Act and Chartered Accountants and ICA, like that. There will be certain monitoring authorities. So you have to focus more on these. Okay. Next, scope of internal audit. All of you. Is it clear, ma? Block 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you preparing then? Daily, are you preparing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about all the classes? Are you attending?
Yes, ma'am. We are attending.
Okay, you are attending. Okay. So it is a nice platform, ma. So you learn well, you interact with the teachers. So in the last class, Sunday, I will tell you how to attempt the exam. Already you are
Last class is
clear.
Saturday, ma'am.
Fine. Hmm?
Last class is at Saturday, 11th.
11th, it's on Saturday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I think it's up to Sunday, I think so. Okay, I will check it out. No problem. I'll check it out. Once I will check it. I remember it was till Sunday.
No, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Saturday. Yes, up to Saturday. We have 6 days. Yes, I remember. Okay, Saturday, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, it will be the last class then. And on Saturday, I will tell you some technique how to attempt the exam and goal setting. I will talk to you for 10 minutes. Goal setting. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Are you ready? Are you ready for listening the goal setting topic?
But the time is up, ma'am. We have only 6 minutes.
Okay, okay. Yes, time is limited. Not now. On Saturday, I will explain.
Okay,
Not
ma'am.
now. Okay. So till here, you understood all the concepts, Nama?
Yes, ma'am.
Block 1, 2, 3, 4 we have covered. And block 5 tomorrow, 1.5 unit I will cover. And after tomorrow, I will cover 1.5 unit. We have 3 units in the block 5. So we will cover. And already notes I have prepared it. Tomorrow we will discuss. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So you try to be ready for the next class also.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, you be ready for next class. And so you take break for a while. Okay, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll meet tomorrow again. Suma, I will share PPT to you. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay then. Okay. Okay, then I am leaving the meeting now. Tomorrow we will meet.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma. Okay. All the best. Happy learning.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma. Okay.